Let's read some popular books that people seem to be split on. I feel like sometimes it's even more intriguing to read books that are getting mixed reviews than the ones that are really popular, because why isn't everyone agreeing about these? So I decided to use my library, because if I don't like them, off they go back. So I have 3 popular books that I wanted to see. What's the problem? Why isn't everyone agreeing about them? The first book I'm going to read, it just came out, and it is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. This is technically book 2, the companion novels, though. Sig, You'll Remember Me came out last year. I personally liked it. I thought I had seen pretty mixed reviews. It seemed to be the unpopular opinion, but that's okay. This one I'm a little nervous just because it is a friends to lovers, which I have yet to find one that I personally really love, but I'm open to it. Her books in general have been a little hit and miss for me, though. Like Part of Your World, loved it, but Yours Truly was kind of a mess for me. So I'm really curious to see how I'm personally going to feel. A lot of people say that loved it, read it in a day. The other ones, I just really didn't care for the romance. So where do I stand? The second one I have seen going around and I've been really curious is Julie Chen is Dead. This one wasn't going to be something I was going to pick up. I thought it was literary fiction, but turns out it's a thriller. So it got my attention. Basically, Julie Chen has a twin who is a very popular influencer, and she ends up kind of taking her identity when she dies, and then you're getting her story. I don't know where the thriller part is coming from. Again, it seems to be dividing people, so I want to know. It seems like a good palate cleanser, which is what I need right now. The last one I will for sure pick up is Daggermouth. This is technically an adult romantasy, which I'm only really starting to get into. This one has really mixed reviews once again. Actually, the average rating is super high, but it seems to be the case for literally every romantasy ever. Whether I like them or not, they'll get 4 point something. So I don't pay attention to it, but I wanted to get my hands on it. I saw it really early when it was picked up by my library. So I have it right now. I can try it and I'll let you know if it's worth reading or not. I'm really curious to see where I will personally stand on all 3 of these books. I'll try to let you know why I think they are getting such mixed reviews, and hopefully a couple of them do work for me. I wasn't planning on updating you today, but I've already finished Julie Chen is Dead. According to my e-reader, it took me less than 3.5 hours. I am not a fast reader. It's 300 pages, but I feel like those people online could probably read this in like 30 minutes or an hour. Crazy, but this was weird. Like straight up really, really weird. It's a thriller, but I feel like this would really be anyone's cup of tea that likes weird girl lit fic. I think this would be your thing. If you enjoyed Bunny, this is straight up your alley. So Julie Chen is the main female character. She is a twin, which is not illegal to separate twins at birth to make them like be adopted. I feel like it used to happen. I feel like I had heard it was illegal. Maybe it depends. Either way, that's what happens. Her twin sister is adopted by this really rich white family, and she is adopted by her aunt who really disliked her mother. So kind of abusive situation. She is very poor. She's working at a, is it grocery store? She's a cashier, and she's definitely living paycheck to paycheck. And then her twin sister is a really famous influencer, so sometimes people recognize her, think it's her, and yeah. So one day she receives this phone call, this message from her sister telling her, trying to say something to her, and it cuts. It's a weird message, so she decides, she has a weird feeling, she decides to go to New York to see her sister, and she finds her dead. And whenever the situation is progressing, people start thinking, confusing, which one are you? And she decides to take her place. So she's pretending that, oh no, this is my attic sister, Julie Chen, which is her, that's her, she's dead. So I'm the influencer. So she decides to take her spot and become the rich influencer. Things don't necessarily go as she planned. I will say she's not a reliable narrator. So some things, you don't take super seriously. She was acting like being an influencer was super easy, like to that level, like, oh, she's taking just a selfie and posting it. That's not usually what happens at that level, I feel like. But either way, again, not super reliable. She's not meant to be. And things progress, I'm not going to say, but things get weirder and weirder to the point where Bunny That's the best way to explain it. Bunny. With a little bit of Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. That's what I would say to compare the book. But yes, such a weird book. I don't know. I don't think it's a book that you love, but it was interesting. So I think I'm going to give it 3.5. I understand why some people would hate it. And I feel like 3.5 might sound low, but for me, I think it's a fair rating. I enjoyed it for what it was. Very weird, kind of gross. And yeah. I enjoyed myself because it was quick. Like if it had been super long, I don't think I would have finished it, but for what it was enjoyable. So I don't regret reading it. I'm glad I got it from the library though, and we're going to move on to something else I will be reading now, The Night We Met. So hopefully the little romance will wash those memories away. Because it was so weird. If you've read it, you know. Another day, another rainy update. It's been raining literally every day. This is what spring looks like in Canada. I did finish the second book, The Night We Met, which this book was messy. So I understand why people seem to be on the fence about it. I liked it though. I think it's because I really liked the characters. I didn't care for the situation though. I was saying it was friends to lovers. It's definitely more messy than that because the female character is dating Mike, the best friend of the male character. They all met the same night at a concert and she needed a ride home. Mike offers, the other male character offers, but he was kind of grumpy. I mean, he has reasons, but she ends up going with man who becomes her boyfriend. But that man is a freaking mess and he probably shouldn't be dating right now. And I feel like often he's asking, again, the male character to help him out. Literally, the first scene is him calling him because he's hangover. He's saying he has a migraine, but like he's hangover. Not a spoiler. And he's asking him super early in the morning, can you actually give her a ride? They're not even officially dating yet. Her mother's getting surgery. Can you give her a ride? So as a really good guy, he does it. Goes pick her up, then is distracting her as she's waiting. So they go and eat together. Really good at distracting her, being there for her because her not even boyfriend just choked on her because hangover. Anyway, so that's kind of the beginning of their situation, how they start developing this friendship, but there are feelings there. And I feel like it stayed kind of messy for most of the book, which I found a bit too long. I will say that I'm not a fan again of the cheating trope. I didn't feel like it towed the line too much. It wasn't like full-on emotionally like cheating or anything. Again, I don't have much patience for that. So it felt like they were really trying, but then, you know, things happen. Mike is a mess. And yeah, I will say, again, I felt like the messy situation lasted way too long. Like I would say like 90% of the book before you get to the ending. I think that what was the redeeming quality for me was that I really liked the characters. Like Mike was a mess, but like he's a decent person deep down. But also the two main characters were just really good people, especially the male character. I feel like I haven't read a ton of romance, but what was my issue when I started was that the really popular ones, the men kept making like really stupid mistakes that were like way too far, like not just a little bit, but like straight up doing things that should be a deal breaker. Like if you were my friend and you were telling me that, you dump him, you move on, like not redeemable. So I feel like in general, her as an author, her male characters have really worked for me. They don't tend to do horrible things. The bar is low, but it is what it is. So in general, you know, they're good characters. I also like that she ends up almost using like family members instead to bring the mess into the situation, because that's realistic too. There's always things going around. But yes, I understand why people didn't care for this book, why it's been getting mixed reviews, but I really like the characters. The mess lasted too long. That's as much as I can say without ruining it. But yeah, it was good. I'm going to give it 4, which is, I think, higher than most people. Again, the average seemed to be kind of low right now, but it worked for me because the characters are very likable. Like, they're deeply decent people. They're trying to do the right thing in this situation, but the situation sucked. So I have one more book to go through. I have to read Daggermouth, which is probably the one that worries me the most because people are so divided. Like 5-star or 1, I haven't seen much in between. So where will I stand? So I was going to update you on the last book and I realized I haven't shown you any of my cats yet. So let's fix that. 4, all in one. There you go. Claudia, Chunky, Chip, Charlie. Yeah, oh, he's always showing his belly. So cute. I am done with Daggermouth. I didn't finish it, but I'm finished with it because, oh my gosh, this is going to be by far the messiest review in this video. To be fair, kind of to be expected, okay? I kind of knew romantasy is not my main genre, but I have been wanting to read more of them because some of them are really, really good and addicting. Like, even if the writing is not the greatest, if the story is really good, I'll look past it and just read it for entertainment. But this was a mess from beginning to finish. Right away, I knew it wasn't going to work for me. I'm still learning to put down books when I'm not enjoying them. Sometimes it's just, you need to learn to give up more in life, Emily. Seriously, in this case, because 99% of the time, it doesn't get better. You'll force yourself and you just are hate reading it and it's putting you in a reading slump. But the 1% is a book people tell you about, like, oh, push through, it get better, there's a twist or something. Not this case, not this one. Instantly, I knew it wasn't going to work for me, but I pushed through for a reason. So chapter 1, you're introduced to the president's son, the male character. His job is basically to murder people in front of everyone that are rebelling against his father. And he doesn't seem to be supporting his father. Like, in front of everyone, he has no choice. But first chapter, he is seen hesitating, so he's in big trouble. But he might be rebelling, maybe moving some medical supplies to be given to the people. Like, that's kind of what happens chapter 1. So that's that. And then second chapter, you're introduced to a main female character. Right away, did not like, not her, but like the way she is written didn't ring true to me. Like, she's a tough gal, but like, anyway, she read weird. Chapter 3 and 4, it's important. Right away, both characters get a spicy scene. And like, this was me reading them. Listen, I'm not a huge spicy reader, but I didn't like the cringe, like, Anyway, so not a big fan of that. The reason I continued wasn't to torture myself, but it was because it's an enemies to lovers. And I'm really curious about that trope. Like, I like it in general when it done well, but I was really curious how you were going to go from her being a mercenary sent to assassin, the president's son, to them being forced to marry. So like, how do you go from enemies to lovers? And at 38% is when I gave up, because they hadn't even been forced to marry yet, but they were forced to stay in his apartment. And like, right away, there was like oh, maybe you were attracted to each other. It was just too quick, not believable. Again, the writing was straight up not great, okay? We're going to be honest. Romantasy can be hit and miss in general, but some of them, like, it's subjective, but like sometimes not fully. So yeah, it was just not well written. The average rating is super high, so like, you might feel differently. It's not like I'm a big reader of those that can objectively tell you which ones are really great, but if usually our taste align, I would say big skip, because this was so bad. Like, I think it's the worst book I have read, like, objectively speaking. Quality of the writing wise, the worst book I've read this year. 38%. I mean, the book is like 500 something pages. So like, I read like 200 pages and it was poor. It was poor. There's a reason people are giving it 1 star, and I didn't finish it, so I probably won't rate it, but it was bad. It was straight up bad. So yeah, unfortunately, I will say skip it. I'm so happy I got it from the library, because if I had bought this, I was really hoping to really get to like, okay, them, falling in love or something, because again, enemies to lovers, but it just started switching so weird. It was written, no. So yeah, not a fan, would skip it. The best one for me this week was The Night We Met. I understand why it wasn't, everyone's favorite, but I overall liked it. And then it would be Julie Chan, and then Daggermouth. I want to forget I read that big time. So I really want to try to use my library more this year, and I feel like this was the perfect challenge for it, because if they weren't going to work for me, they were all returned anyway. Let me know in the comment section if you've tried any of them. I would love to hear your thoughts. Someone actually did ask me for Julie Chan if you would do whole or chew. If you know, you know. For me, whole. No questions asked. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.